So I just want to make a video show what my criteria was when I picked out the generator for the house. This is one way you can do it. You can get bigger, like hardwire ones, but then you're spending many thousands of dollars for that, and then you can't move it anywhere if you want to have portable power for a tool or whatever, something like that. But anyways, what my criteria was, the first thing you gotta want to probably the biggest thing to worry about if you're gonna do this, like what I want to do is tie it into the house. So this would tie into the house to the breaker box to a breaker that backfeeds, and then you flip the main off. There's an interlock kit, all that stuff. You can go online and find that stuff out. There's also transfer switches, but they also make an interlock kit that basically just you can't just have you gotta flip the main breaker off to have the generator on, and there's a little metal plate. It's like $60 for some silly little metal plate, which seems like a rip off, but that's basically what it is. Square D makes them, I know, because that's what I'm going to go with when I have my panel replaced. But anyways, this is probably the most common thing you'll see on a generator, unless you go something like really big, like a welder generator. But if you want to do like the whole house thing, you're gonna need something like this, because it's got four poles on it. I I don't know for sure on these, but I believe that's ground. And you got hot, hot, neutral, or something like that. Well, it might be not be that order, but you got two hots, so you get a 240 from there to there, and you have a neutral. So then you have 120 between hot, neutral, 120, and you have a ground reference, and that's there. That's a 30 amp twist lock plug. So this at least this one, in most generators you'll probably find for something like this, they're gonna probably have like a 30 amp plug like this. So it'll probably run your critical stuff, a fridge, freezer, sump pump, well, whatever. It'll run a microwave, that'll probably push it a little bit, but probably not nothing that it can't handle. Electric stove, you might get away with like one burner or something if you tried that. I don't know, I haven't tried it. But that's probably the main thing you'd want to look for, other than the wattage. And then the more of a, obviously, the more wattage you want to get, the heavier the unit's going to be, the more cost. This is about average from what I've dealt with from a prior experience, was about 7,000 to 9,000 wattish. I believe this has two ratings. I think the green is propane, and I think this is gas. I know propane is not quite as long runs time, so it doesn't have much energy in it. But my second, and something this big, you also want an electric start. Most of these like this have that. Some you gotta plug in the wall or some to charge it and maintain it. This one it's just self-charging, so I run it every 2 or 3 months. I was told that a guy at work said run these like every month to keep the oil and stuff circulating, and the generator had cleaned out of dust and stuff like that. But the other thing I was looking for was, since I don't probably need this a ton, but I want the basement flooding or whatever, if the sump pump fails or things like that, so I want to have something anyways. I was like, if I'm gonna buy something, I may as well get a decent sized one, and I can run whatever I would possibly want to, and say I want something that's too small. And but the other thing I wanted to do is, and the reason I figured since I'm not gonna use it possibly a lot, the 6 gallons, 5 gallons, 6 gallon, whatever this whole thing holds up here in the tank and for gas, in theory that could go bad or whatever, because gas, as most of you probably know, it goes bad with time, so then it's not going to start or run, or it's going to run lousy. As far as I know, LP never goes bad, or if I run out of gas, I can always hook a 20-pound cylinder up to it. So there's a fitting here that this comes with this hose, at least in this Champion unit, and there's a little, it's like a 3-foot hose with a little regulator on a 20-pound cylinder connector. And then if you want to change fuel, you flip the gas valve off. Actually, you you can kind of see you can't, if you try and change it, this yellow thing prevents you, so you can't do that. You gotta flip this gas valve off, slide that over, then you can flip the LP one on, and same thing, you can't turn that on. It's kind of an odd thing, but I guess you have to maintain two separate lines or something, so there's two valves. So that's the way you would do that. And we have tested it runs on both just fine, so. But that's some of the big factors I looked for in a generator. Brand was a factor too, but I mostly have just looked at reviews and price and stuff, and there was some Hondas, they wanted a lot for the Honda models. Then there's other Toros and whatever else you got. Saw some Duramax or some oddball thing like that. And I looked at reviews and stuff, and Tractor Supply had this on sale. It's a Champion. I never really heard of it before, but I heard some other people talk about it, and they said it's a good brand and stuff, so I was like, okay. And it seems to work fine. It's got a voltage, amperage gauge thing there. In this model, I can try and start it a second. You gotta turn the battery on. There's a choke lever over here. So if it's cold, even in winter or whatever, even in summer, you just choke it. You push that one, hopefully it'll start for you. Flip that off, flip the battery off, and it's dead. And this is a 7,500 watt generator. So that's kind of some of the things I looked for. The starting wattage, the big 240, 120 twist lock plug, 30 amp. You could probably get something different too. There's probably like I know there's a 20 amp version of plug like this. There's probably a generator that has that too somewhere. If you want something a little smaller, I don't think you'd gain anything that's really space wise or anything like that. Just going from a 20 to 30 amps, so I'd say you'd probably just be better off to get a 30 amp it might cost you a little bit more size and weight and cost, but it's probably not that much, so I'd say you'd be better off to go with this. And there's probably some 40 amp or 50 amp version too out there, but and most generators have like this GFCI. Most of them at least have 15 amps. Some have like a 20. This is a 20 because it's got the sideways blade there. I've never actually used it. That's a 30 amp 120. It's probably just basically splicing the two poles on this thing. I don't know. I've never had a use for that either. And some generators, some of these, I don't know the big ones, but some generators also have like a 12 volt output for charging a battery or whatever. But I think the main factor is if you want to do the house, is like 240 plug of some sort with a combo 120 240, so you can get both bus bars in your panel. Enough wattage to power whatever you need. Dual fuel, preferably, especially if you're not going to run it a whole lot. Or at least if the gas in the tank's probably going to go bad before you actually need to use it for a long period of time. And I think that's about all I got.